After I exchanged marital vows with my wife Nana at the church, the way she smiled at me innocently made me think I have found peace of mind. Little did I know that behind those innocent smiles lies a deep secret. The first time I saw my wife in a red gown at midnight, I thought it was normal. I thought I knew everything about her. But there was one thing I never knew about her, her nights. Slowly, I began to notice something strange. Every night, she would go to bed in her normal nightgown. But exactly at midnight, I would find her standing in a red gown. By morning, she was back in her usual clothes. The first night, I ignored it. The second night, I told myself it was a coincidence. But by the third night, I realized this was no mistake. And sometimes, she wasn't even in bed at all. One morning, I asked her, "Honey, sometimes I see you in a red gown at night. But by morning, you're in something else. Why change clothes?" She froze, then laughed softly at me. "A red gown? Come on, honey. You worry too much. I've told you before, I don't even like red." She hugged me tight, smiling, but I could feel it. She was hiding something. That night, I made up my mind I would stay awake and catch her. But no matter how hard I tried, I always drifted off, and by morning, she would tap me gently, smiling as she said, "Honey, it's 6 a.m. already." I was surprised. I couldn't remember when I slept off. I became restless, so I came up with a smarter plan. If I could take away that red gown before midnight, maybe then I would finally know the truth. That evening, I took her to her favorite movie house. She was so focused on the screen, laughing at every scene, that she didn't notice my eyes on her. "Honey," I said casually, "do you care for ice cream?" Her face lit up. "Of course. You know I can't say no." I smiled, pretending to head out for the ice cream, but instead, I drove home, straight to the wardrobe. I searched frantically, tossing clothes aside, desperate to find it. Then I saw it, tucked deep at the bottom. A flash of her ed.my hands trembled as I reached for it, and Tina's voice behind me, "What are you searching for?" I froze. It was my wife. This time, she wasn't smiling. My hands were still gripping the red gown in the wardrobe when I looked up and saw her. Her eyes seemed sharper now, colder, almost as if she could read my every thought. "What are you searching for?" she asked again, her voice calm but heavy. Each step she took toward me made my heartbeat quicken. I forced a weak smile, desperately searching for an excuse. But before I could speak, a knock came at the door. Our neighbor's voice called her name. She turned quickly and left the room. The moment she was gone, I yanked the gown out with trembling hands and shoved it deep under the bed. My chest rose and fell as I whispered to myself, "Tonight, the truth must come out. Since she keeps denying, I'll watch what really happens." When she returned, I had to act normal, so I put on a playful smile. "Honey," I said casually, "I thought I misplaced my ATM card." I rushed home to check the wardrobe. She studied me closely, her eyes searching mine, then gave a soft smile and nodded. But deep down, I knew she was not convinced. She added, "Well, it's fine. I also left the movie house because I was not comfortable anymore." "But, what about that ice cream?" I chuckled lightly, pretending to relax. "Tomorrow, I promised. Honey, I've got gist for you." Her mood shifted instantly. My wife loved gist. We laughed, joked, and played like any ordinary couple. To anyone else, it would have looked like a happy night. But inside me, I was not calm. Every word, every smile, I was watching her closely, waiting for midnight. At about 10 p.m., another knock came at the door. I frowned. "Who visits at this hour?" "Oh, that must be my friends," she said quickly. "Friends? You never told me anyone was coming," I replied. "Sorry, darling," she said softly. "Their car broke down. They asked to stay here tonight." She walked to the door and opened it. My blood ran cold. Two women stepped in. Both of them looked exactly like my wife. The resemblance is unbelievable. I forced a smile, trying to hide my confusion, and welcomed them in. I decided to sleep in the sitting room so that I can know what they are up to, while my wife took them to our guest room. But sleep was far from me. I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, my ears sharp, waiting. Then close to midnight, the bedroom door creaked open. My wife stepped out fast, her face calm but unreadable. Behind her stood the two friends, each dressed in a red gown, just like the one my wife wore at midnight. A chill raced down my spine. They stopped in front of me, their eyes locked on mine. For a moment, it felt as though my wife was one of them, part of whatever secret they carried. Then one of them spoke, her voice low and chilling. Some things are never to be touched, or it won't end well. I froze. My mouth went dry. What did she mean? The second friend's eyes narrowed. Where did you keep it? She whispered, and then my wife's gaze shifted to me. Her face was unreadable, her eyes fixed, as though waiting for my answer. The air in the room grew heavier, colder. My heart pounded so hard I thought they could hear it. In that moment, I understood. They had checked for the gown, and when they couldn't find it, they came for me. She had always denied owning a red gown, yet every midnight she wore it. And now that I had finally hidden it, she and her two strange friends stood before me, their eyes burning like fire in the dim light of our home. Where is the red gown? One of them demanded. Her voice was sharp, almost cutting through the silence of the room. I was stunned at the audacity. 3 women in my house, in the middle of the night, interrogating me like I was the stranger. There's no red gown in this house, I replied, forcing my voice to stay steady, but inside, my chest was pounding. My wife stepped forward, her tone colder than I had ever heard it. You took it. If you knew what it meant, you wouldn't have dared. Her words made my stomach tighten. What could a simple gown possibly mean? The room was still. The silence was worse than shouting. Then, her two friends spoke together, almost in unison. Their voices low. If you don't bring it out before morning, prepare yourself. They turned and began walking back toward the bedroom. But just before stepping inside, my wife glanced back. Her eyes were different. Hard. Empty. Like she no longer knew me, or perhaps, like she was no longer the woman I married. I sank onto the couch, my hands trembling uncontrollably. Thoughts raged inside my head. Part of me wanted to shout, to demand answers, to throw them all out of my house. This was my home, why should I feel like the intruder? But no words left my lips. My voice betrayed me. For the first time since I married her, fear silenced me. Maybe I should just send her away, I thought. Maybe my peace of mind is worth more than this marriage. But then another thought cut deeper. She's carrying my child. How do I send her now? And what if giving them the gown is worse than keeping it? I placed my face in my hands, whispering, God, what have I gotten myself into? Unable to think straight, I picked up my phone and stepped quietly outside. The air was cold, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones, but it wasn't half as chilling as the fear inside me. I dialed the number of my old friend, an elder in his 60s. My hands shook as I held the phone. The first time, he didn't answer. I tried again. Finally, his voice came through. It's late, what's the matter, my son? Sir, forgive me for calling at this hour, I whispered. My voice cracked. It's about my wife? What about her? He asked gently, and so I told him everything, the midnight changes, the red gown she kept denying, the friends who appeared in the same dress, and their chilling warning. Every word felt heavier as I spoke. The elder sighed deeply. You must be careful, I once faced something similar, with my late wife. But listen carefully, he continued, his voice dropping lower. There is only one way to end this and have peace of mind. But before I tell you, are you alone? Is anyone listening? My heart skipped. The way he asked it, it felt like he was about to tell me something terrible. Slowly, I turned my head to look around. And then, my body froze. My wife stood by the window. Beside her, the two friends. All three staring straight at me, their eyes unblinking, as though they had heard every word of my conversation. Hello. Hello. Are you there? The elder's voice crackled through the line. But I couldn't answer. My lips parted, no sound came out. I was speechless. As I stood frozen, I noticed my wife was now wearing the same red gown I had hidden under the bed. Her two friends, also in red gowns, began to laugh, and my wife joined in. The sound echoed through the night. I couldn't understand what they found so funny, but every note of it made my skin crawl. I had even forgotten I was on the phone. I didn't know when the call ended. I kept asking myself, was this really the woman I vowed to spend my life with, or a stranger wearing her face? Then my phone beeped. A new message. It was from the elder, meet me tomorrow morning. There are hidden things about your wife, and things you must do. I stared at the screen. My wife and her friends were still laughing, then they walked back inside that night. I did not close my eyes. From the sitting room, I heard whispers all through the night, leaking from the bedroom walls. Just before dawn, her two friends walked out, this time in normal clothes. They didn't greet me or glance my way. When the sun finally rose, my wife was suddenly normal again. She smiled, called me sweet names, even tried to play with me. But I couldn't hold it in. What is that red gown about? Tell me the truth. I shouted. She looked at me softly, almost pitifully. Honey, please. Don't talk about that. Just leave it. Her calmness terrified me more than anger would have done. I did not push further. I grabbed my keys and stormed out. I needed answers. The elder was my only hope, but when I got to his house, my heart froze. I thought this red gown mystery would finally end. But there he was, the elder I trusted to give me answers, sitting with my wife's friends, the same women who haunted me last night. I said nothing. I turned to leave. Son, why are you leaving? The elder called out. Is something wrong? My frustration spilled out. I thought you could help me. I never knew you dine with the same people troubling me. The elder's eyes widened. He looked from me to the two women, then back again. Before he could respond, one of them rose to her feet. Sir, we must leave now. Perhaps when next we come to town, we'll see you again. The elder nodded politely. All right, thank you for coming. As they passed me at the door, one whispered in a chilling tone, do the right thing. When they left, the elder leaned closer. Those women. They were my students years ago. They only stopped to greet me before leaving town. Beyond that, I know nothing of their lives. I stared at him, confused, but stayed quiet. Then he drew in a deep breath. If you truly want answers, if you want peace, this is what you must do. Buy your wife more red gowns. At midnight, pretend to be asleep and watch. The word struck me like thunder. More gowns. That sounded insane. But something in his tone carried weight, like he had lived this before. Against my better judgment, I obeyed. I bought the gowns and gave them to my wife. She smiled, delighted. I didn't smile back. That night, I lay in bed pretending to sleep. My heart raced. At exactly midnight, she rose. She slipped into the red gown and hurried out, as though being chased. I sat up, trembling, and called the elder. He answered almost instantly, as though he had been expecting me. She just left, I whispered. Follow her quietly. And see for yourself. He said. I stood, opened the bedroom door gently. The sitting room was empty. Then I heard it, faint whispers, seeping from the kitchen. Step by step, I approached. My hands shook as I pushed the door open. I was shocked at what I saw. I saw my wife kneeling on the kitchen floor, her red gown looks dim, her head slightly bowed. Her lips were moving, whispering words I couldn't make out. She didn't look up. She didn't even care that I was standing there, watching. But what truly shook me was the dim glow of two candles on the kitchen counter, their weak light stretching across her face, making her look like someone I didn't know anymore. My throat went dry. My body stiffened. Should I shout? Or should I run? For the first time in my life, fear and confusion tied me down in my own house. So this is what she does every midnight. How could I have lived with her all this while and never known? I stumbled back, shut the door, and pressed my trembling hands against the wall. My heart raced so hard, it was as though it wanted to break out of my chest. Back in the sitting room, I paced restlessly, my eyes fixed on the kitchen door as if it might burst open. Thoughts ran wild. Should I run away? Should I confront her? Or should I wait until morning? One thing was clear, I could not stay in this house tonight. I rushed into the bedroom, fumbling with my clothes, trying to dress up quickly. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold my car keys. Just as I turned to leave, the bedroom door creaked open. She entered and stood right at the door, her eyes locked onto mine. My chest tightened and the keys nearly slipped from my hand. "Where are you going, at this hour?" she asked quietly. I stammered. I just need to check on something. I'll be back soon." She shook her head slowly, her voice firmer this time. "You're going nowhere." Sweat slid down my face. I froze, uncertain whether to fight my way out or sit back down. She walked closer, and just as my fear reached its peak, she broke down, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Please, don't go," she begged. "I love you. I'm carrying our child. I know you've been worried these past days. I did not know how to tell you. I've tried to avoid a day like this, but since you've seen me, I'll open up. I'll tell you what my midnight truly means." Her sobs shook the room. I stood torn between two choices: run before she blocked my way, or stay and finally hear what she had been hiding. She reached out, her voice trembling. "Please, just listen. Maybe then you'll understand what I've carried since I was born, and what I became after I lost my mother." The room fell completely silent. I drew a deep breath and sat down. She sat beside me, still wiping her tears. I looked at her, trying to calm my racing heart. "Go ahead," I said softly. "Talk to me." She turned slowly, tears still on her cheeks, and finally opened her mouth to speak. She was finally ready to open up about the secret behind the red gown. I could see the fear in her eyes, but also a quiet determination, as if she had carried this burden for far too long. Her voice trembled as she leaned toward me. "It all started after I was born. My mother introduced me to something we call the Rednit. She was a key figure. I grew up believing in it. We wore the gowns, and through them, we were connected all over. But she warned me, if I didn't wear mine at midnight, something would come for me, and I would never return," she narrated. I sighed. This was the first time I had ever had anything like this. "So why didn't you tell me all this while?" I said. Tears streamed down her face as she looked away. "Because I thought you'd leave me. I didn't want to lose you. But now, if you choose to go, I'll understand." I felt my heart break. "And your mother, what happened to her?" Her grip tightened around my hands like she was holding on to life itself. "She broke the rules. And then, she was gone. They said she was taken, at least, that's what we believed. After that, they handed me her apron and told me I would take her place." The room suddenly felt smaller. My chest tightened as the reality of her words sank in. I sighed, then whispered, "The elder told me to buy you more gowns. Does that mean anything?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. It means you've accepted my bond, even without realizing it." Her words chilled me to the bone. It was as if my love for her had unknowingly tied me to a world I didn't belong to. "And your friends?" I asked, my voice cracking. "Why did they come here and warn me?" She looked down, her voice faint. "They're part of it too. Every August 1st, we gather. It's our tradition. No man is allowed to interfere. It's dangerous." Then her voice broke completely. "I just want to sleep peacefully at night. I wish I could stop living this way. I wish I was free. I'm scared. I don't want to end up like my mother." Tears welled in my eyes. This wasn't the moment for blame or to argue about secrets. I pulled her close and whispered, "I'm here for you. We'll face this together." She rested in my arms, sobbing. In that moment, I finally understood, this wasn't just about saving our marriage. It was about saving her life. Desperate for help, I searched through my contacts until I found the number of an old friend from school, a man of strong faith. That night, we called him. My wife poured out everything she had hidden since we got married. He listened patiently before giving us clear instructions. His words felt heavy, but they gave us hope. Trembling, yet determined, we followed through that night. Together, we threw everything that had bound her to the past. The days that followed weren't easy. She battled fear, doubts, and nights of restlessness. But slowly, she came out strong. Months later, Joy finally returned to our home. She gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, our symbol of a new beginning. Now, we sleep in peace. No secrets. No midnight troubles. Just love, trust, and a reminder that sometimes the only way forward is to face your battles head-on and stand by the ones you love. Sometimes, battles are not meant to be fought alone, and this one, we won together.